Darlings, how are you? I hope I find you well on this wonderful day. I have just done a meditation, and as usual, they start bringing in things that they wanted to talk to you about. Rude, that's all I'm saying. So I can never have a private meditation without I'm saying, say this to the rest of your tribe. And it's like, okay, they don't say tribe, they say this to humanity, share this with humanity. So I'm going to start what they started, basically, and I would assume they'll continue filling in the blanks as I talk. So it's a complete free speech again, but I know the subject matter they want me to start on, because I was sitting on a beach just having a lovely idyllic time, and they brought this imagery to my mind saying that we need to talk about this. It was actually highlighted a bit on my interview with Ron on Sean Atwood's channel. We had such an amazing chat. He's such an amazing person. And I don't know if they picked out of my template, my memory, that this needs to be brought to the fore, but here we go. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm still linked up to the angel realms and the spirit world. I'm still half up there, half down here. So everything that I say will be inspired from them. They wanted me to bring up the phenomena of the Black Hat Man. Now, this has been reported. I've heard about it from when I first started all this 35 years ago, full time. The Black Hat Man has been reported globally all over the world by thousands of people as visiting and scaring lots of people in their homes. Please let me know, just interested, let me know in the comments below if you've ever had an experience with the Black Hat Man. Predominantly, he looks a bit of a Victorian type figure. So it's like a black top hat. And he looks very menacing, and he's not great energy. So I've been really interested in him. I don't really work a lot with dark energies, but I've faced them. I've dealt with them. I have to, because it's yin and yang in this kind of movement, whatever you want to call it, we're in. But it needs to be mentioned again for some reason. So I'm going to describe it and tell you what I feel they are telling me who he is. His imagery, as I say, looks very much like this Victorian man. Lots of children report seeing him, lots of them. However, I know people personally, as well as through the tribe, that they have had visits by him. So while I was up there, I've also done it before where I've sat in and said, who is he? What is this about? So I don't know why it's relevant now. Perhaps there's more opportunity for him to visit through the shadows because of the chaos that's going on in the world. And, I always speak of the light, but we have to acknowledge there is the other side of that, which is the darkness. Now, the one thing you have to remember about dark energy is that it can only jump from shadow to shadow, and it can only really infiltrate a vessel, if you like, or affect you if you attract it. So that means that you could be on a really low energy, anger energy, depressed energy, or you just could be downright evil. And if you are, it's the perfect vessel that it can come in and infiltrate your thoughts, feelings, behaviour. It's very, very rare, but it's not rare how many times he tries to visit and infiltrate families, go into homes. I'd assume that they find portals to jump in on to get in. A lot of those will be ancient portals that are in the land, possibly under your house. Some of them, they're easily entered into your home if you are playing around with stuff that you shouldn't be. So there's all different ways that this dark energy can enter into your homestead. The Black Hat Man, from what I've been shown, and as I say to you, I always speak of my experiences, my knowledge, and everything purely from soul. So don't research it. I don't read about it. I literally get it from soul, share it with you, and then it turns out loads of people have heard of it, or it's a thing. So what happens is that the imagery of this man actually represents dark energy. Now, I use this analogy with Ron on Sean Atwood's channel, right? Because it's a brilliant analogy. Do you remember, I think it was Poltergeist 2, where there was that really creepy skeletal looking man with the big black hat? I think he was some sort of reverend or something, and he was attracted to Carol Ann's light, right? And this is exactly what this figure represents. He represents dark energy, basically. And what he does is he comes in to try out the energy of the normally children or anybody that he thinks he may get an in with, right? So the first thing they're going to go towards are people that give out light. So most children, babies, and younger humans have got so much innocence and so much purity, because obviously, you know, they haven't been thwarted by bad parenting, peerage, society, media, blah, 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 blah. So they're attracted to that light, and it's almost a challenge for them to see if they can infiltrate that light. I'm not talking about possession, but if they can create an environment that's conducive to them remaining in that space, they're laughing. And they can create all sorts of havoc, you know, like low energy, illness, depression, accidents, all sorts of things. I've done a video on how to spot signs of like a dark energy in your house or around you. But predominantly, this dark shadow creates an imagery of the Black Hat Man. And he literally you'll see him. He's very good at manifesting himself. Again, let me know if you've seen him, right? In the comments below. And his imagery is quite menacing, which I thought is a bit weird, because really, if he wanted to try and get in on light people, surely he would show himself as friendly to almost groom them. Do you know what I mean? Or say, oh, don't worry, I'm good. But he doesn't. It's a very menacing energy. Lots of parents have reported seeing him as well, especially looking over children's beds and things like that. I'm not trying to scare you. It's a matter of fact, and it's reported, as I say, globally. So his imagery represents darkness intending to take over that space, your home or wherever it may be. And so if your children report this, don't see it as a nightmare, because you'll find, and I bet you we find it in the comments for this video, that there are hundreds, if not thousands, that will respond to this to say, yes, I've experienced this man in my childhood or even in your adulthood. Okay, because he'll take on anything, this thing. And you've got to remember that they're powerless unless you let them in or let them remain. So it'd be really interesting just to see why I've had to mention this. As I say, I feel it's because people are getting a bit disparaging. You know, there's a potential that we could be going into a recession soon. It just feels like that passive aggressive voice of doom because of this war in Iran. And it you know, it's a great time for media to crack out the psyops and crack out all of the opportunities to put us back in our pens again through fear, and threats of pandemics and all sorts of disease and God knows what. So this is a great time for the shadows to start leaping out and jumping on people's fear and disdain and lack of morale. And so predominantly they may have brought this up and created a visualization in my head to let us know that this may be part of the shift that we're going through, that we're going to be challenged a bit more by this darker energy. And I don't kind of prescribe to this sort of thing, but if it's brought up, I'm going to have to trust the process of why it's been in my energy and my consciousness for the last few days. So what to do about it? If you have any reports from your children or you've experienced it, you know, that's true. I don't know who just said that, but someone just said, you know, it doesn't have to be. It could just be a Victorian man visiting you. It has to have the feeling of menace. So what I've felt when I've walked in, predominantly every energy that I've walked in that's negative is me walking into it on a paranormal investigation, right? Everything that's dark and evil that I've ever had is what I've walked into voluntarily to take on or investigate, or didn't even know they were there and they were there. You know, it's never come to me. So you've got to remember 100% that by being in the light, embracing angels, embracing your faith, whatever it may be, embracing the goodness in life, you are not going to attract this. However, there are ancient portals. There are ways that these shadows can jump from place to place through these portals. And so you may be faced with it, okay? And it's laughable, really, because they've got no power whatsoever, absolutely none. The one thing they can get, though, is jumping in on fear. They can jump in on your worry and, you know, people continue talking about it. they feast on people's fear and worries and vulnerabilities. So this is what you do. First of all, if it's a child that has mentioned this, then there are practical steps. I've had to do it with all of my nieces and nephews because we're all obviously wide awake when we're born in our bloodline. And so this is just a standard way of dealing with it. And this will also help if you've got children that are awake and are getting spirit visitation. It could even be that, you know, your children are getting positive visitation. But the problem is sometimes our spirit family are so excited that someone's seeing them and hearing them and knowing they're there. They inadvertently don't look at our TikTok timeline down here and they overvisit. So you're getting kids that are like not getting sleep, or they're actually fearing it, not realising it's their nan. Luckily, my lot all identify who's coming in. But sometimes it can get too much. Also, you know, potentially you could be in a place where the land or the house holds residual energy of a spirit, you know. And this is so common. Children that used to reside in a house or the land, and there's another child in the space and they just want to be their friend. And that is quite common, to be honest with you. And it's totally friendly. And this is where all the imaginary friends come in. Plus, you've got, you know, if you've lost any children, they will be looking after their siblings. So you've got all manner of different visitations. So what we need to do is we need to, first of all, the first thing to decipher, right, when you are being told by your children or you're experiencing it and see it near your child's bedroom or whatever it is to decipher if it's good or bad. It's really, really simple. I'm telling you now, you will know if you've got something negative in your house, right? You will feel sick. There'll be really freezing cold spots where your spine will feel like it's being pulled down. You could get bad smells. It's very much like a sulphur rotten egg sort of smell, or drains. It smells a bit off. You can get bad luck, accidents. You can get things keep failing. Remember when I had that gin in the villa in Spain? Not the G&T gin, that bloody malevolent thing in Spain. We went through, I think it was about 6 kettles, about 4 or 5 fridge freezers, something like that. I can't remember how many it was now, because it just kept exploding all the electrics everywhere, and light bulbs and flashing light bulbs. There's general feel of malaise, depression. There'll be arguments. So you'll know if there's something not pleasant in your house. I'll tell you that now, because it will just permeate through the ether and create a negative, cold, dank energy. If it's something that you're really scared of, you need to find a reputable medium or someone that deals with darker energy. But predominantly you own that energy. You are alive. You're a stronger source of energy than it is. So most of the time you can tell them to fluff off. Do you know what I mean? If you've got the courage to do that, just own your space and they'll go, because they've got no strength, absolutely no strength whatsoever. It's when you fear and become vulnerable and become almost a prisoner to their presence, that's when they can like start getting up to all sorts of shenanigans. So first of all, you need to decipher that. You know, as I say, you could have this lovely old Victorian gentleman walking through and you're going, get out! And they're like, oh, I'm only walking through. So decipher the energy of what's taking place there. If your child or whoever has seen it, you're feeling that immediate fear, coldness, spine possibly being pulled down, that slither of, oh my God, what the hell is that? Then it most really is going to be the Black Hat Man. Now, this is what you do. For children, amethyst is the most perfect stone for healing, grief, transformation, meditation, third eye chakra activation. It is a beautiful, and it is one of the strongest, most common tools for spirit communication. But inadvertently, I was shown many, many years ago that it also works as a block to spirit communication, and anybody wanting to infiltrate the energy of a younger person. I mean, you know, you've got to think about teenagers as well. They love the strength of hormonal energy surging and beginning in a new teenager. I love all that as well. So amethyst needs to be up by their head or divine chakra. So either under the pillow if they're old enough, if they're really young, you know, because obviously we don't want to create any choking hazards. You need, or it's going to be a really big crystal, you put it up near on a shelf or windowsill, wherever their upper chakra is. And it actually blocks spirit communication. I found this out on a visit where you've heard this story loads of times, where a girl jumped on a piggyback because she wasn't being seen by her family because they're religious. So she kept coming down and seeing this young girl, a friend of the family, and she was just didn't realise how often she was down there, bless her. And the poor child wasn't getting any sleep. So they said, put this amethyst by. And I thought that focused your energy, but it doesn't for children. And for this particular scenario, that's what you use, amethyst stone. I saw that. It's a huge orb's just gone across there. So, and then what you do is you tell your child or tell the person, or even yourself, if you're doing it for yourself, this is a stone that stops communication. It is a stone of strength. It is a stone to say that this is my boundary and you will not come past it. And if you tell your child or person it's a magic stone that does that, they've already set the intention and put their power into that crystal that then obviously will triangulate back. So that's the first thing you do. Listen, the biggest and oldest, most strongest traditional way of stopping anything getting past the line is salt. Rock salt, sea salt, Himalayan salt. I always, for some reason, I don't know if it's because you know me, I'm sea orientated, but I always use sea salt with a blend of rock salt. So you can, what you do is you either ask where the vision is, or where did you see him then, darling? Right. And you can put the salt right in the trajectory of where they were standing and where they're sleeping. You can put one by a mirror, because sometimes they can act as portals if that's how they're coming in, but they don't all do that. I can't believe I'm saying all this. I don't want to scare you, but they're telling me this is what I've got to do. Potentially it could be, it's not just, okay, thank you. I think this is Gabriel, because every time I blink, I keep seeing like gold and bronze colour, and that's Gabriel's colour. So it's just like messenger energy. Sorry, could you just say, with love and respect, could you just repeat what you just put into my head, please? Because I just lost, because I was looking at your imagery. Sorry. Yes, of course. So, as I say, this isn't just about negative blocking. This is about establishing boundaries for over-exuberant, friendly spirit people as well. And it isn't because there's more darkness coming into the world. There is more light. Because the veil is getting thinner and they are raising our consciousness, right? People are inadvertently raising this consciousness without even knowing it. And this layer is getting more and more broader and more transparent, if you like, to open up to all of these other energies that we're going to be experiencing as we transgress, right? As we go forward, we're going to get more and more aligned to the ethereal layers, right? So that's going to open a lot more consciousness up, and you'll begin to come a lot more awake, a lot more aware. So things that you wouldn't have even seen 2 years ago, you could see clear as day. That's where we're going towards, right? So this is a preparation, thank you, of me showing you what to do if you're seeing too much, or you feel like you're being like, not invaded, but you're seeing too much, or you're like, oh, do you know what? This is getting a bit busy in my house. Okay, it's literally securing a little environment that establishes your boundaries with spirit communication. So this will help for good and bad, basically. So the amethyst crystal and rock salt, I always do a mix of rock salt, sea salt. I always, in every house I've ever had, I don't know how I do it in my new one because there's quite a few doors in the new house, but I always have a gossamer bag of rock and sea salt in my front door and my back door. Always. And then I personally change them every couple of months, every 3 months, and I give that salt back to Mother Gaia, just put it into the land in the flower beds. Not that it's mostly good for the plants, but hey ho. Or I take it down to the ocean and just release it back into the ocean. And then I create fresh bags. I've always done that since my first house when I was 21. Always done that. And I was never taught that. I just knew I had to do it. Excuse me. Also, every single house I've ever been in as well, I put a labradorite up, and I can't be asked, but I could get up and show you. I've got a labradorite hanging down. It was a beautiful gift from a tribe member in a necklace. And it's so beautiful, but I want to see it all the time. So I have it hanging down off a hook in my front door. Now, remember, labradorite reflects energy. It's a mirror stone. On top of all of the other positive energies it has, like motivation and energy, purpose, focus, it's a real kick-ass stone. Strength, protection of your own spiritual element. It not only protects your energy, it also pushes back anything that is brought towards you negatively. So, for instance, if you're getting problems with a neighbour, face one towards the neighbour. If you're getting problems with a person, hold it and visualise that person. You literally are creating your own reflective essence back at them. So they could be throwing all sorts of pants at you and they just get it back 100-fold. It's brilliant. So I also have a labradorite in my front door, labradorite back door, right, just to secure the home. But I'm not securing it. It's just, I don't know why. It's just always been intrinsic in me to do it. Always. And every room, you can't see them now because they're all in the packing boxes, but every single room, right, we've got them in Karma actually, I think. Sure we have, the sun catchers, right? So, but they've got to be the proper crystals. It's, there's a lot of them that you buy and they're fake and they're like weird glass or plastic. You need proper crystal structures. And what happens is when you put these in your windows, I have them in every window. But again, it's not about fearing or protection. It's just part of what I've always done. Same as I sage the house every month, or sometimes every day or every week, depending on what energies I'm going through, right? So what happens is that by inadvertently putting them up in your window, the light sears through the crystal and creates light prisms around your room. It's a beautiful way to keep the light in your house. And the same thing with our frequency lamps. I've Karen and Sharon are like, you can't have any more. I've got 2 or 3 now, but I light them in most rooms. They are sending out light frequency of that crystal. So it's almost like having an air diffuser. Not that I have those. I have the pure ones that are just essential oils. But they're sending out that light, that frequency. Also, do you know what? I never know I love these free speech things I do, because I never know what I'm going to say, and they're just telling me what to tell you. Because also, having music frequency in the house. So when I'm working, if I've got to do any emails or I've got to, do bits that are just the boring part of this work, I always have frequency music playing. And I don't think I've got to protect myself. Absolutely not. I'm just enhancing the energy of my home space. Like I do have in my crystals, fairies everywhere, angels everywhere. It's just what I've naturally done. Even since as a kid, I had them in my room. And so having that sound frequency permanently vibrating through, you're heightening your vibration and you're solidifying your spiritual well-being and your soul energy. It also benefits your pets, everybody else in the house. Even if you've got people in your house that are, not as awake as you, you're still subliminally creating that beautiful space for their soul energy as well. It's all about, with this transition that we're going through, this speech is all about how to create the best and highest vibration in your home so that you are more conducive to everything that comes to you, that you can work through without it really hitting you, if you know what I mean. So you're creating the best possible space for you to embrace spiritual, divine intervention. Okay? And of course, having your crystals in the room. I'm looking at the moment at selenite, celestite, golden healer, Lemurian Vogel crystal. My precious is sitting there, and my Lemurian flame. I've got the angel quartz dragon. I've got a huge, massive lamp of Himalayan salt sitting there. I've got clear quartz by the television. to stop all the EMF stuff coming from there. That sucks up lovely. I've got an amethyst right by my feet. I've got an orca crystal there, right? And I can't pack them yet. I have to have, I've got a rose quartz there. Mind you, that's the Guad Shah, whatever it's called. What are they called? I don't bleeding know. I've got that there anyway because I like sitting watching the telly doing it. But that's just me sitting here, and that's my house packed. That's not including. See that there? I haven't lit it up today, but that's full of dragonflies, butterflies to represent transformation and not being allowed to have disillusionment in your life about what goes on in the 3D. It's also hanging with a load of different crystals. You've got rose quartz, turquoise, amethyst, citrine, clear quartz, selenite, blue lace agate. They're just hanging off little things there. And do you know what? The more I'm saying this, the more I realise, have a look at your environment to see what you're doing to feed your soul maintenance. Because I cannot not have these. These will go in a box on the last day that I step foot out of this house. I just have to have them near me. And it isn't a need. I've got to do it. I've got to protect myself. It's just it helps you reside in this atmosphere when you're not up in the spirit world. Remember, that's our home up there. We're on holiday down here. I'm so putting a complaint in. I'm surprised Tui didn't supply it. Oh, God. But yeah, so I've got that all here. Obviously, I have loads of plants in the room because I'm part elemental, the fairies, unicorns, angels. I have all different types of colour lights for the different spectrums that the light we create. So I've got a pink light, red light, white light, which is the selenite. I've got a lava lamp. I always have to have one of those, and that one's a blue and white one. And I have to have all different types of colour. And you may have seen in my videos, I've also got one of those ones that looks like the ocean, and it just turns colour. I have to have colour and light around me as well. So these are all things that feed that soul energy to keep you in that high vibration for the bad days when the 3D just drags you down to shit level. Do you know what I mean? And so it's actually made me realise what I've surrounded myself in. Right there is my essential oil diffuser. So I'm also smelling and embracing that energy and all of the beautiful properties that essential oils hold. I think I've got geranium and rose quartz and lavender in there. I think those two are safe for dogs. So I've only got ones that are safe for dogs. And photographs. All my photographs have been packed now, apart from one of Ted and Mia and one of Mila over there. Just things that make me feel positive, and I love my animals. So have a look at your environment, because inadvertently you most probably are supplying the perfect little pocket of soul energy while you're down here. It's your little bubble of home, familiarity. And also you may experience, I've completely gone off on another tangent here, but that's how it works with these free speech things. I've got a Buddha sitting there as well. But it's all about creating what your soul is familiar with. So you could also be surrounded by things from previous lives. Some of you may be obsessed with Egyptian stuff, Victorian stuff, whatever it is. I remember when I was writing Earthwalkers, when I was ill, I was obsessed with Victorian stuff. And there was no accident. One, because I had a previous life in the Victorian era, but also two, I had a Victorian author helping me write it. So, look at what's around you. But ordinarily, your home environment, there will be things, if you're waking up or already awake, you will have things that you didn't even think of that are there to keep you at that level that's like being at home in the reality cloud back in the spirit world. Have a look. Let me know what you've done. Just sit wherever you are watching this and just put down below in the comments what you're looking at, and you just think, oh my goodness. Because I love Jack Vetriano, but a lot of them here are water-based. They're all water, the ones here, apart from that one and that one. Again, because of water, I love water. I've got a map up there of the Caribbean. I adore the Caribbean. I've definitely had a previous life there, there's no doubt about it. So just be aware of what's around you. And if there's anything you think's lacking, then just get it and have it in there to keep that vibration high. with these tiny little shifts of putting things in, or you may already have them, it's really hard, especially for the black cat man, to just come in and infiltrate that. It's just unnecessary. It's a bit like a burglar walking along and dodging the houses that have got alarms. It's just not worth the hassle. It's just not worth the hassle. So creating that environment around the house is great. Rose quartz is amazing because that filters all negative energy. It just pushes out permanent positive energy. Okay. So you've done the sea salt in the bedroom, and this is if we're going back to a child element. You know, you got the amethyst up by their divine chakras, right? Then you need to look at another positive intention, vibration to feed into that child or person. So I remember doing this with a young boy called Ben. I think his name was Ben. And I was at my friend's crystal shop, and this woman walked in. She was distraught because the spirit people would not leave her son alone. And he was very psychic, very awake, and very young. And he was just being kept up all night long. And he was falling asleep at school. The school had got involved. It was an absolute nightmare. And so I just thought, well, what do I do for, like, what have I done for my nieces and nephews and things like that? And so I just said, right, get this amethyst, get this salt, get a sun catcher in the window. And I said, oh, also, see that dream catcher? I said, get that. So she got the dream catcher. And now I would add things that are good for dream state, you know. Lemurian crystal must be really good in that now. But anyway, so I said to her, tell him on top of the magic stone, which is the amethyst, tell him that dream catcher is a vacuum. It will suck in all the people that want to keep you awake, and they'll be stuck in there, and all that will be brought out in those whirls in the dream catcher will be beautiful dreams for you. It's really magic, and it will stop anybody disturbing you. So again, what you're doing is you're creating intent that he knows that that's powerful. And the amethyst is powerful, and so he feels safer. So that psyche is saying nothing's going to touch me now because I've got that and this. So they're inadvertently sending out this strong intention of don't disturb me, right? And literally, she phoned. I think, did she phone me or text me? So the following day, email, I can't remember, it's years ago, and she said, I just can't believe it. It was instant. It stopped. And it's the first night's sleep he'd had for months. And he never had a problem again. Until, I think I spoke to him a few years later when it started up again. But he was embracing it. And, you know, he's the sort of person that most would end up being a full-time medium because they were just there all the time for him. But it was magical. And I shocked myself. I thought, bloody hell, it was literally instant. And every single time I've ever been to a place where kids are being disturbed a lot, which obviously is going to happen a bit more now because we're waking up, it was instant. They never had a problem again. So it bloody works. And, you know, there's part of you that thinks, how is this going to work? Is it really going to stop them? It bloody does. The only other thing to do as well is, and I have done a video on this on here, is what I call calling out, where you just sit down and say, I'm not being funny, you know, even if it's a loved one, say, Nan, Mum, whatever it is, I appreciate you here to see the kids, but you keep them awake. I don't think you realise how far how much you come in here. And they'll go, oh, shit, sorry. And then they'll back off. Yeah, my brother used to have it. He used to sleep with a penknife under his bed because he was absolutely terrified because he didn't know it was my dad coming to visit him every night because he was so worried about him because we were having a really horrific time. And it wasn't until I spoke to another medium and worked out that we did a code. And so Richard used to play the guitar. And so what we used to do is say to Dad, right, ping the strings to let us know it's you. So as soon as he heard that ding, 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 he went, oh, hello, Dad. And he knew it was Dad and he felt safe. Yeah, amazing. Seriously. So call them out. Politely, if you know that it's good. If it's bad, you can use every fluff under the sun. Get out of here. You're not welcome here. Don't even think it. No fear. Just this controlled strength of get the fluff out of my house. That will work more than you paying stupid money for some joker to come in and sort it out for you. Don't just go. speak to a reputable medium, right? I've, God, over the years, the amount of money people have spent on jokers that have come in, all right? Just be careful with that if you've got this going on. But predominantly, let's keep it real here. These are the extremes of what I've been asked to speak about, right? Predominantly, it's going to be your loved ones. They're going to be around you. They're going to learn their limits. They know not to wake you up. The only time I've ever been woken up in bed is a warning, or I'm here, I know you're hurting, or they know that I desperately want to hear from them, like Darren. My granddad came in once to tell me about someone that was cheating on me. That was really good, actually. That was so impressive. That was really impressive. He wouldn't let me go to sleep until he said, for God's sake, will you listen to me? I was like, that was a really good one. I remember my other granddad standing next to me when I was really poorly after the road accident. And I was like, I could see his waistcoat and his jacket. And he was standing right next to me. I'm like, what's going on? Thinking someone was going to go up to Spirit. He goes, I'm just here to let you know I'm here. I've got you. You've got this. It's all going to be okay. And obviously my dad, so to me, this is as natural as anything. There are spirit people in this house all the time. And, I've only had Mila for 6-7 months, however long it's been. And first of all, she was off and barking at everything going like, what the hell's going on? She's used to it now, bless her heart. And I keep forgetting that it's not normal for a lot of you. And so you're going to be scared or worried because, most media and most outlets kind of make it all scary when it's absolutely not. So be aware that you are going to be open to a lot more phenomena. And predominantly, 99% of it is going to be your loved ones, your spirit guides, angel realms coming in. So look for the other synchronicities around the visitation, or if you're aware there's a presence in the house. Is it you, Mum? If it is, do something else in the day or whenever you can to let me know it's you. And then you'll turn the radio on. It'll be your mum's song. They will always, always back up their identity if you don't know who they are. I'm lucky. I know exactly who it is coming in, unless it's a stranger and they come in and they're like, oh, can you speak to my daughter because you're going to watch your video? But apart from that, I know, again, 99.99%, I know exactly who is in my house in any given moment. And again, 99.9%, it's my family, my guides, angels. I'm lucky. But I think they feel I've missed a beat in explaining it to you. It's like when people say, how do you meditate? I'm like, I grew up meditating. I grew up looking at cards and tea leaves and readings and stuff like that. But sometimes I forget that some people don't know. Do you know what I mean? So I need to go back to basics sometimes to help you understand it all. So it's very exciting that this subject matter has come up because it means that it's working. The consciousness is slowly rising. And again, it's not like okay, at 2:00 tomorrow, we're all going to jump over to the 5D element and be awake and blah. It's not going to be like that. It's a slow transitional wake up because you can't, it's like someone that's been sleepwalking all their life. You can't wake them up in the middle of it and say, we've got to stop this. We literally, we've been, most, unlike me, but a lot of people, a lot of the population on the planet, they have been either asleep or volunteered to be asleep, but they need to be wakened now for this. And so it can't be done dramatically because it would be too overwhelming. So it's a slow process of people becoming aware. So you're going to see more numerology. You're going to see and smell different things that are alien to you. And then you think, oh, actually, I remember that. That's my nan's perfume or whatever it is. You're going to see more synchronicities. There's going to be more stuff that you think, no, and then it'll happen again. And that's absolutely beautiful because it is literally them slowly bringing you awake, even if you didn't volunteer. If you remember, thank you. Juliana said ages ago, I've lost my timeline since Dan went home, but ages ago, Juliana said that karma will be really swift and it's going to be a lot quicker now. And the end of our karmic ties, and the fact that they're spending more energy, i.e. our guides, the angel realms, everybody else, they're spending more energy on slowly waking up our consciousness and awareness than ever before in the history of Earth. And so with that, Mother Gaia will whisper to you. So you've got Mother Gaia's energy coming from below, as above, so below. So, you know, you're going to be more attuned to vibration of earth, animals, plants, nature. The sea is going to call to you. The trees might call to you. You may be called to not want to live in a town anymore. There'll be so many changes that are brought about, tasting food, tasting anything really, drinks, whatever it is. You know, your senses and your consciousness, your moral compass will change. Your thought processes around relationships will change. Your boundaries and what you're prepared to tolerate will change in people and situations, even work environments. Some of you might want to just take that leap of faith, leave whatever you're doing and become a Reiki master or start doing holistic treatments, whatever it is, just go with the flow of it. It's a bit scary when you do it, trust me, because I went from being institutionalized from when I left school in the police service, and it was my whole life, social life, family, everything was all to do with the police. And then when it was all gone, you're like suddenly scared because every move is completely into the unknown. And I can understand that for people that are being faced with this. I don't want a 9 to 5 job anymore. No, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go and do readings, or I want to go and do this, whatever it is. So it is scary to be in a very safe, routine way of being, and then suddenly they're throwing a spanner in the works and making you question your whole reason for being. I love it though. And when I'm watching people wake up and they say, oh God, this is happening now, that's happening now. And your dreams will be incredible. You'll start getting so much telepathy, messages and visions and all sorts of communication through dream state. So it's imperative, as you'll forget them, to have a journal or a notebook next to your bed, so that when you start getting these messages from your loved ones or from your guides, wherever it may be, to get it written down, or a voice memo it, because the times that I've had the most glorious dream visitation, and then in the morning I'm like, why didn't I just write it or, you know, speak it out then, because I've forgotten half of it. Your soul will remember it, but it's nice for us to remember it, you know. But yeah, that's quite annoying when that happens, because you remember bits of it and it's like, do you know what I mean? It's also good to note those sort of things, or even if you get visualization. Catherine must be in the house because I want to burp. Excuse me. Yeah, visualizations, thoughts, numbers, write them down, make a note of it, because when you look back, it could be, for instance, you know, remember Gaia is coming up from below, right? Her vibration is strengthening with the Schumann resonance. So you've got to remember that you're going to be aware of planetary energy as well. And so when you perhaps think, God, I felt really crap then, have a look what the moon was doing. Have a look what stage the moon was at. Start investigating how your soul is negotiating Mother Gaia's energy as well as the angelic and spiritual energy. And you'll be amazed. And as I say, which one? Yeah, that was I've used this analogy before. I remember waking up feeling scared, worried, guilty, and really, really sad. And I thought, what the hell is this? It's not me. There's nothing wrong with me. And us girls check our hormone levels and what cycles are at and all the rest of it. I'm like, no, why am I feeling like this? I felt scared, guilty. Then I felt I'd taken too much medication. And I'm like, what the fluff is going on? And then shut the front door. I bloody turned my phone on and Michael Jackson's dead. And I thought, I've just felt the spike of energy, which will be the guilt from the doctor, his need for medication, la, 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 the fear of how they were going to deal with it, and the fact that he overdosed. And so I knew straight away before even anybody said what had happened there. And so you'll start and so if you note these and then look back and then see if it correlates with something, It's really weird. You'll start being part of the universal energy and on the planet you reside on. When I was up in that planet, I still don't know what it is. I haven't got a clue. I don't know if that was a dog or a wolf, so was it a dog star? I don't know, which I love. I don't have to say I was here. This is the planet I was on. I just know I was there, and there was these beautiful blonde people. But the one thing I noticed when I was in that energy was the fact that they were all connected as one. They were all in this tranquil, calm, loving, benevolent energy, right? But they all kind of connected with each other. It felt like when I came out of the pods, where all those medibed things were, these liquid medbedy things, right? When I came out of that, I felt like I then had to reassess. And that's when and all this pressure and all, it just was all, then I saw the wolf or the dog, whatever it was, right? And then when I looked across to all these figures just walking around, it's like I had to realign my frequency to all of their thought processes as one. So I would assume from that experience that where we're going to end up is there will be a group consciousness or a planetary consciousness, but we will be able to turn that frequency. Yes, thank you, Gabriel. Yes, we will be able to turn that frequency to have our own energy and thought process, right? We'll just naturally be able to turn the frequency like I can for the spirit world and angel realms. And this is exactly what Gabriel's just put in my head, right? Is that when I was writing Earthwalkers, a bit of a spoiler, but when they go through certain frequencies and certain areas, like they went past a reality layer at one point, and so one of the characters, won't give you too much in case you haven't read it, it says adjust your frequency. And so they had to kind of turn it off and readjust the frequency to align with the reality layer. And then when they went past the reality layer and then they were going into Jeremiah's layer, they were like realigning frequency. And so that's what it will be. And you'll be able to do it like that. And that is why I keep, oh my God, I'm realizing stuff as I go as well. Because I used to have to sit for ages. I used to have to make sure that the phone was off, nobody disturbed me, get my angel music on, get my selenite or my celestite or whatever angel stone I could grab. And I'm like, okay, I want to go up to the angel realms. And it used to be hard work. And if I was thinking, oh, you know, what am I having for dinner tomorrow? I've got to go and pick up that from the post office. It wouldn't happen. And now I don't even have to ask them. I was doing a meditation. It's like speak to humanity. And it's like, Jesus, it's like, for me, it's just, and I actually do sit here sometimes. I'm not going to lie. You know me. I sometimes sit here and think, am I making it up? Am I just talking my own stuff? And then a feather will come down or there'll be a number or I'll pull a Gabriel card or something will come up to always back up exactly what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, you know, they tell me things that can happen on the planet and they happen. These predictions happen. So it's not me just, you know, because you do, as a human, there's part of you that thinks, am I really getting to the angel realms that easy? Yes. So this is me showing you how much easier it's getting. But in the same token, the whole reason for what they've asked me to speak about, starting from the Black Hat Man, is that we have to be aware that we're going to be open to more frequencies and energies, which is beautiful, but we can't fear it. And this is how we create our lovely little juicy reality layer spot down here by what I've been shown and recommended for you to have in your home environment to make it easier for you to grow, to learn, to spiritually develop, but also to keep that vibration high enough that you feel home. It's going to give you so much more of an enormous sense of well-being, that you're different, that there is something else there, that you are part of something that's magnificent and universal. And by setting reminders and creating those comfort bits that will keep your soul going, oh yeah, this feels more like home. You got crystals, you got light, you got scents, you got music, whatever it is, you know, you are going to become so much more sensitive. So be aware of what you are surrounding yourself by. So, hang on a minute, I'm just repeating. So there will be people that you used to be able to go, oh, whatever, not listen to them, not engage. But the more sensitive you become, you inadvertently could embrace some of their energy. So if they're moaners, if they're manipulators, if they are bullies, whatever, or they're just negative people, be very aware. Yeah. Be very aware that you could inadvertently suck some of that energy without even knowing it, because of sensitivity you're going to be a bit more exposed to it. So be mindful to energize your space so that you can't absorb any of it. Right now, the problem with that is that most empaths and light workers and people that are awake do people service careers and vocations, don't you? Your hospital, your nurses, paramedics, police, hairdressers, beauty therapists, beauty consultants, carers. We're all absolutely thrown into a need and passion to help others in one way or another. So that means we're dealing with people and sheeple. So it's hard work. Labradorite is great for that. And I'm going to remind you again of when I'm standing in front of someone that's negative, nasty, or I just don't like their energy, and I just literally create, it's always been pink. Perhaps that's because it's Ariel's energy, because she helps us with base chakra stuff, right? That's the point. Yeah, that's why. So it's always been pink, and it looks like a very translucent pink brick wall. And I visualize that in front of the person, and I think, you're not coming anywhere near me, love, but crack on. And I'm going, oh, yeah. And they're moaning or bitching or slagging someone off, and I'm not even entering into this energy. I don't want any of it. And I almost want to laugh because they're going, ah! And I'm like, oh my God, this is so funny, because I've got this wall up and you're not coming anywhere near my energy. So be aware of that if you are very close to people, and as healers, you want to be, as a nurse, carer, paramedic, whatever it is, you're going to be touching and in their auric field, aren't you? Holistic therapists, massage therapists, you're going to be in that auric field. So be very mindful as we move on through this transition to keep yourself aligned to your energy and not allow anybody to get involved in it. But what is equally, what is equally as beautiful is that the beautiful people in the world, the mindfulness, the spiritually alive and awakened, you can embrace each other's energy, relax in it, revel in that I see you, the avatar, one of my most favourite sayings, I see you. Just revel in that beauty of acknowledging an old soul like yourself. So there's swings and roundabouts with this. And when I meet an older soul, if I just meet them for the first time, or, we're newly acquainted, I just want to hug them. I just want to look in their eyes. I'm like, oh my God, you're another one. There's another one here, another candlelight in the array of darkness. And it's just, I just want to be with them. I want to talk to them. I want to touch them. I want to, I just want to be in their energy. And they're our like-minded souls. They're our old advanced souls that are on our level. And they're the ones we meet and we adore, and we just want to spend time with them, That's why I can't wait to get back to doing the retreats and stuff, because that magic, it is second to none. To have like a long weekend with like-minded souls and people that are awake and just sit in a bubble of love, energy, happiness, excitement, and spiritual celebration, there's nothing that compares to it. Nothing. And I can't wait to get back doing them, the bliss retreats. And that's what it's about. It's a celebration of ancient souls that are all joining together on this planet. And when you meet one or you spend time with them, it absolutely blooms your soul to its biggest potential. So there are swings and roundabouts in this ascension we find ourselves in. And there's nothing to fear. It's just being aware of where you are, what situation you're in, what environment you find yourself in, and how you deal with that. And just be mindful. Thank you. Just be mindful every morning. I was talking to it in a little WhatsApp group. God bless you. That was so good, wasn't it? The other day, where every morning I wake up and I do my gratitude, right? Every morning, even if it's really shitty gratitudes because I can't think of anything good because I'm in a right mood or whatever it is, or it's a bad Darren day. And then I literally I've got these stackers. Do you know what? I'll put the link in the description box below because I think this is such a good idea. I got them from Amazon, right? I know some of you don't like buying from Amazon, but I can't go walking around the shop, so that's what I do. And what they are, you can have all different sizes, but I've got the really big one, right? And you can stack, they're they're really good quality, and you can stack your jewellery. So I've got one layer, which is full of all of my crystal pendants, right? And it's perfect because they're all there. They're all aligned in different compartments. So I put them under the sun for the ones that need to be under the sun, put them under a full moon, right? Or sometimes I just take them down the sea and put them in a net. But they're really good because I just literally either look at them and I know it's like today I've got this one. What is that one again? I know it's for grief. Because I'm up there, I can't remember the bloody name of it. But what I do is I literally look, or I put my hand over them and my soul tells me what one I need to wear that day. And again, it's just a little act of self-love and a little act of soul maintenance. And then sometimes if I've had one on too long, I start getting irritated and I think, oh God, I've got to get this off. I've got to get this off. Like ring changes as well. You know, I got this, look, I nicked that from Karma, that one. Isn't it gorgeous? Larimar and Aquamarine. They're not sending me anything more because I'm moving. It's just I'm getting more and more boxes. I'm going to end up with like 10,000 bands. But, so I pick what I'm going to have on my body. So the pink moonstone has remained. I've got the other moonstone. I know exactly what that's for because that's for new beginnings. So I know that's stuck on there for a little while at the moment as well. I've got, oh my God, I can't remember what that one is. I'm having a brain fart. So aquamarine, aventurine. Oh my God, I can't remember. It's a really good one as well. Oh, I can't remember. What's that one? I can't think because I'm up there. If it's right in my head, it's fine. But anyway, then obviously I've got Darren's amethyst, which will never leave me. I've got, what is that? I think that's Austrian opalite in my ears. So that is not hard to do. Select what you're going to wear for the day and go with your intuition or feel the vibration, or just you'll look and know that that's what's got to go on your auric field. It's a really simple process, and then you set up for the day straight away, you know? So, you know, it's not a chore to maintain soul energy, but I think you need to be mindful of what you're creating around you as you wake up and as your consciousness rises, okay? So just look around where you spend most of your time and see if there's anything that irritates you or isn't right. Kind of get it out of that energy. What you surround yourself by is really important as we move forward, okay? Keep yourself hydrated as much as you can. Obviously, tap water isn't advisable, but water is, thank you, is the conduit to the spirit world and to the ethereal layers. It is like electricity is with metal. Water is, that liquid element is so important, and it is a conduit. You know, some of you may get more inspiration, messages, hear your name being called in the shower or the bath because you are surrounded in that water element, you know. So water is really important. You've got to keep hydrated as well as much as you can. And I bet half of us don't even do that, because the downfall of being an empath is that you always put other people first and don't maintain yourself enough. But that needs to change a bit. You need to start being a bit more responsible for what you're putting in your body and surrounding it by as you wake up. And some of you are wide awake. Some of you are brilliant mediums, healers, whatever you do. Just be mindful, because we forget it, because we are literally here to serve humankind. That's all we're here for. That's what we've signed up for during this time, right? And so we've got to be mindful to look after ourselves as well. Hence why my videos are all sporadic at the moment. There's no routine. There's no, I've got to do this on that day and this. I just literally am going with the flow of what the universe wants me to share with you. So some days it could be predictions. One day it could be channeling heaven. One day it could be popping to some planet. Or it's just what they've asked me to talk about today, which I find absolutely beautiful. And I'm so humbly thankful and honoured and amazed, to be honest with you, on what they bring through to talk to you about. I had no clue what I was going to talk about. I thought I was just going to say about the Black Hat Man. I thought that's going to take 5 minutes. What's the rest of it going to be? But yeah, that's important, darlings. That's important. So let me just check to see if there's anything else I want to say. Sunlight is important as well, which I've already spoken about before. Yeah, it's inadvertently, I've been really conscious. You know, you've seen these videos of what I now use on my body and the products and getting rid of all the toxic stuff. And I didn't really care about that 10 years ago, but now I'm really mindful of what's in the environment and around it with me. That's really important. Is there anything else you'd like to say, please, before I close down my connection with you? Feeding your souls is feeding yourself in more ways than you could possibly imagine. And show others. They'll start seeing you shine. You can see like the sun cards in the major arcana. You'll start to shine and they'll say, oh, you look good. What have you done? What have you changed? Start trying to educate people that are not as open, awake, or as spiritually evolved as you. Try and help others to understand in very delicate ways how they can improve themselves, even if it's introducing them to crystals, whatever it is. Try and help others wake up, because some are going to be faced with fear. They're not going to know what they're doing. They're going to wonder why things are changing. And it could be quite a difficult time for the sheeple people. So try and educate other people subliminally or gently or however you want to on how they can improve their well-being. Service to others can take place on all levels, in all different layers. It really can. Yeah, I think I'm done. I thank you so much for allowing me to be part of this mediation session. So it's my time to have a cup of tea now. I hope you've enjoyed this, darlings. Let me know below, one, about your soul assessment of what you actually surrounded yourself by. And if you've seen the Black Hat Man, that would be really interesting. I might even do a poll post to put that up after this video. But yes, I'll see you on the next one. And thank you so much for listening. And again, don't forget to hype it if you enjoyed it. I don't know what that is now, but it must improve the algorithms. I've got no clue. But until the next time, darlings, take care of each other. And let me know in the comments below about everything we spoke about. God bless. Please press the like button and the subscription, because that's what will keep our tribe going. Many thanks. Love you all.